I think he was talking about inside.
Watch your head.
Welcome to Colossal Cave, guys. This is the entrance here. While our eyes adjust, I'm going to tell you a bit about it. This was used about 1,100 years ago by the Hohokam people as a waypoint. They didn't live here, but they would camp out and they would store materials here. We have evidence of it. This area here is where they would camp out. This hole in the rock is a makeshift oven. And the best evidence we have is this campfire residue right here. So, notice the dark color there. There's some similar dark colors over here. Anybody want to guess what that is? Maybe. Well, it's bat poop and it's bat pee, guys.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So the first reason why we don't touch rocks or the walls, it's disgusting, you guys. Just assume that everything's covered in it. We do sanitize the rails daily, but we don't sanitize the rocks. So hold on to the rails, those are safe. Now, we have two main types of animals who live in this cave. We've got the bats, the Townsend big-eared and the cave myotis. They grow to be the size of an adult thumb with a wingspan of 11 to 15 inches. If we see one, it's just going to fly overhead. Don't pay no mind to it, just stand still. They use echolocation to fly. So they know these tunnels real well. If we're moving our arms around or we're screaming, they're going to get confused and you might get a little kiss. So the other type of animals are the coatis. They are painfully adorable. They're members of the raccoon family. They've got long white snouts, weird monkey, cat, lemur-like bodies with long tails, long back legs, short front legs, and non-retractable claws. They're not afraid of us. If we see one, she's either going to run off and tell her friends so they can move, or she's going to plop down right next to us and hang out. They're really cool animals. So if she does sit down next to us and hang out, please don't pet her. She is a wild animal. It is a matriarchal society. Only females live in this cave, and only females are social. All right. So we're going to head down a couple of short staircases here. At the bottom on the right side, there's going to be a hole in the ground. So stick to your left, stick to the rail. Every other hole has a rail. I don't know why I didn't miss a spot.
Oh yeah, we found it somewhere over here.
There's not much room there. Didn't give her a big try.
So do you guys do like maintenance on this stuff too while you guys aren't using tours, or how does that work? I feel like maintenance on the lights.
Hey, look at little like G.I. Joe over here.
Oh, you want the Kenobi?
Oh, yeah, one of them.
I went ahead and
Oh, we do
purchased a
maintenance.
ticket for the Colossal Cave tour.
Because this is in the store. Park.
Right.
So I guess the process of doing stuff or doing maintenance, that goes like 6 months.
You need to go through and make it like safe.
Now, as it drips down over time, it solidifies, turning into these icicle-like structures here. So, these are stalactites. When they drip down, they form stalagmites. These little guys coming up here. That's the water dripping down and then building upwards with the calcite. So eventually they meet form a column, like this guy here. This is their final form. At this point, they just become wider and thicker. Now, these are all pure calcite crystal, as well as these ancient waterfall formations here. They look like stacked jellyfish or melted ice cream. You can tell it's a waterfall because it has two main components to it. You've got these horizontal lines right here. This is called flowstone. Flowstone is caused when water slowly flows over the surface, depositing calcite along the way. These vertical lines here are called dripstone. It's in the name. The water drips down and solidifies over time. And like I said, these are pure calcite crystal. The only reason why it doesn't look that way is because during dry or dormant periods like now, dust and pollen blow in from outside, and it covers everything in this protective layer. So what it looks like beneath all of that is this beautiful milky white crystal right here. This is calcite. This is pure calcite. And the reason why we can see it is that tour guides used to tell their guests to rub it for good luck. So they sure did. So we have oils and salts in our hands that corrode the protective dust layer on these formations. When water returns to this cave, this will not grow back. That being said, I know how satisfying it looks. So if you guys want to give it an old rub, by all means, I won't judge. However, it is probably covered in that. Up to you guys, like I said, no judgments. Sometimes I have entire brave groups of people who want to touch it. I just wouldn't touch my eyes or hit my nose at you.
Awesome, guys.
Engineering?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rub it.
Amazing engineering school there. So, we're here so I can show you Fang. Fang is the largest stalactite in the cave. He weighs approximately 2.5 tons. I don't know why somebody much smarter than me figured that out. And we call him Fang because he's got this little tooth here. And if you're over 5'7", he might get you. So, watch out for him. You see this darker coloring here? That's where bats hang out. So, a little extra incentive not to scrape your head on it. So, we're going to be walking through an area that we affectionately call the Kulwati Potty. Here's a little friend. That's a teenager. So, you're going to smell it, but the masks help. As soon as we pass through the Kulwati Potty, the stink level for the tour goes way down. All right, let's go. And watch your heads coming around this bend here. Some low rocks.
I don't know how they don't poop on these handles these days. Who
said they don't?
Well, but I know, but I'm afraid not to hold on to it. I mean, just in case.
Look at that thing. Solid chunk. Look at this little secret room.
largest room in the cave right now. This is called the drapery room. And we call it that because of these drape-like formations up here. Now, you can tell this is a waterfall because it's got those two primary components. You've got the flow stone up top, those horizontal lines, and more of it cascading down the side here. And then these calcite drapes are the dripstone. What I think is even neater are the crystals that grow in between the folds and underneath. They are called helictites. They change direction as they grow, and geologists have no idea why. So if you guys would like to come up two at a time, make a line, go around back where we started. Come take a look underneath. Get under there. They look kind of like a crocodile teeth, nose hairs.
Wow.
Yeah, they grow in every direction. They defy gravity. They even grow back into themselves. They are really weird. Those little guys up there. Very, very strange crystals. Calcite, calcium carbonate is the same material that makes up sea coral, starfish skeletons. This is a pretty popular mineral here on Earth.
Wow.
Now the reason why it's calcium carbonate is because all of this limestone around us is bioclastic. It was once living material. Small organisms, sea bugs, plants, and whatnot. So, for reference, let's take a look at these stalactites up here. It takes 100 years for them to grow half of an inch. So it is a super long process. And then right behind you, ma'am, is another thing I want to show. Thank you so much. All right. So, this column here with the stalactite and the stalagmite is estimated to have taken 100,000 years to grow to this size. Which makes it all the more tragic when you see how much cave vandalism we have. See all these broken off stalactites here in the ceiling?
It's very
That's
sad.
not natural. Yeah. So calcite is extremely dense, but it's very brittle. It grows in layers, so it doesn't take much strength to just snap off a piece with your bare hand. So let's talk about it. 1879, guy who owned a hotel about a mile or two down from here discovered the cave when he was walking past the entrance and he felt a cool breeze on him. So he decided to immediately capitalize on that. He brought his hotel guests in here, set them loose, and he told them to snap off a piece of the cave for a souvenir. So they sure did for about 45 years. In 1918, a German immigrant moved here, visited the cave, and was immediately horrified at how it was being treated. He was a conservator from Germany. So the first thing that he did was he went into the process of buying a mining deed to the land. He wasn't planning on mining anything out of here. He just wanted to keep it safe. The only thing that was ever mined out of here was bat guano, and they used that for explosives and for cosmetics like mascara, like they still do to this day. So read your labels. So, like I said, Frank had no plans on taking anything out of this cave ever again. So, the first thing he does when he gets the mining deed in 1922 is he maps out the entire cave network. Then, starting in 1923, he did the first commercial tours. You'd pay 25 cents, you get a rope and a candle. There's no floors or lighting or stairs or anything, so that's how you got around the cave back then. So, business was good till the stock market crashed in 29, the Great Depression in the 30s. At that point, nobody really felt like going on tour, so Frank decided the best thing to do would be to sell the land back to the state. So he does so for free, but on two conditions. First, that he remains on as a conservator and general manager to the area. And second, that they bring in the Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC. Some of you may have parents or grandparents who are part of that. It was a New Deal program under FDR, put a lot of young guys to work all over the country. I believe it still exists. So, 1934, CCC comes, Civilian Conservation Corps. They build all the flooring. This is a flagstone and concrete that we're walking on. Same goes for the stairs. They put in the rails, and the original lighting system as well. All of this within 3 to 4 years. The lighting system originally was 2,000 big bright bulbs strewn out throughout the cave. It took them 2 years to do it, which I think was an amazing feat of engineering because they went through every little nook and cranny in this cave and they wired it all up. Bunch of young guys, you know? So, I would imagine that was a bit immersion breaking. 2,000 huge, big, bright bulbs throughout the cave. So in the 70s, people came in and they redid the lighting. Instead of 2,000 big, bright bulbs, they did 200 smaller bulbs. They put a lot of them behind these big fiberglass structures there that were named stalagmites. So they weren't thinking about monsoon seasons when they installed the lighting system. Who here is from Tucson? So you were here last couple
85.
months.
Yeah.
Huge monsoon season. I haven't seen one this big since I moved here in 2000. So,
I've been here since 85 and I haven't seen one that big.
yeah, it was huge. So, we actually had a short for one of the lights deep down in one of the tunnels. So we cut all electricity. That's why we're carrying around lamps right now. For safety issues, honestly, I prefer it. It feels more like you're exploring a cave instead of walking through a theme park attraction, you know? So, before there was any lighting or stairs or rails or anything, if you're lost in a cave, you look for what's called cave markers. Cave markers are rocks or formations that remind us of stuff. So if you guys would like to come over to this side of the room, get the kids up front so they can see better, I'm going to show you the most important cave markers that are here on this wall. Let's come up a little bit more so you can see. So let's say you're an old explorer. You're lost in this cave. All you have is a candle or a torch, and you find yourself in this room. You look for the cave witch. There's the back of her head with her hair, top of her head. There's her eye. She's got a couple of warts on her cheek. There's her nose. There's her mouth. She's got that one tooth that all witches have left. She's eating a limestone biscuit. And so she wouldn't get too lonely, she brought her cat, Shadow. It's a whole package, guys. So when you find the cave witch, you know how to get out of here because her nose points towards the entrance. On the other end of that, we got Mr. Magoo. See his eye socket, his nose, mouth, sipping on some coffee. And as we know, Mr. Magoo has very poor vision, so his nose points further into the cave.
It looks to me like an elephant with a short trunk.
So every cave will have a similar long,
No, I mean, this is all natural.
okay.
Yeah. If you find a cave marker, you can name it.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, this is a gift from the cave herself. This witch here. So, this cave is an average temperature of 71 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little warmer than other caves. Other caves are usually looking at about 50 degrees. Now, the reason why this is warmer is because we have that warm ground soil temperature around us, and this is also a fairly shallow cave. There's only a few feet of dirt between the surface and the limestone. So, limestone's a great insulator. It holds in all that heat when we stay with this nice San Diego weather year-round. Now, the humidity is normally between 40 and 50%. We are at 94, thanks to the monsoon season. So, we're going to be heading down a hallway here. At the end of this staircase, there's going to be an old barometer from the 60s. And it'll tell you all that information, including the air pressure.
Stay tuned.